Welcome to the Family First Retirement Podcast with George Politarhos. For more information on the Petrea Wealth Group or to schedule your complimentary consultation, visit PetreaWealth.com. Now, let's get to the show.
I got a question for you. I heard you as we were getting ready this weekend. You made the comment kind of offhand. He said, I'm going to meet with a radio listener and we're going to help test drive his retirement.
Yeah.
I thought, test drive a retirement, because you think, George, what you do for the community and the families you serve. One day I'm working, I build a plan, I have that date circled on the calendar, and then the next week I'm retired. How do you test drive a retirement?
Well, when Les and I bought our new car, we went there, looked at the vehicles, and we took them for a ride to see how it felt. Shouldn't we do that for our retirement, Mark? I mean, you sit there and you jump out, like you said, you circle a day on the calendar. The next day, you don't go to work anymore.
Right.
You're staying home. What we do is obviously we go through and see how it's going to flow, how it's going to work, all the gaps and pitfalls that come. We're going to see how that's going to affect you. We start with an income plan. That's a huge word for people, income. Where your money is going to come from in retirement. The money, the wages, income's being replaced. Where's it coming from? We go over taxes, nasty topic, terrible time of year for us. But taxes are something we have to address. You go over expenses. And then we go over, obviously, another huge buzzword for people, and something we had a great turnout this past week at our seminars, was about Social Security and taxes. Social Security is a huge area of concern, but you need to know how it's going to fit into your retirement plan. And we give you that plan by giving us a call at 302-330-2166 to schedule your no-cost, no-obligation meeting to get the answers to these questions so that you can take the test drive and know you chose the right plan.
You mentioned your seminar a couple of seconds ago, and every weekend here on Family First Retirement, we say that adults' biggest fear in retirement is running out of money. But now I feel like it's Social Security with all this conversation about the program dissolving in the next 10 years. So has Social Security taken over that top spot as the biggest concern for retirees?
Unfortunately, very high.
Yeah.
We always say a couple things, good news, bad news. Good news is you're living longer.
Right.
Congratulations. Bad news is you're living longer. Our money, we're worried about our money not lasting. Now we have to worry about Social Security not lasting. Some things came out recently that talk about the downfalls and pitfalls of Social Security. And 2033 seems to be the time that we need to plan for that scenario of having a drawback on your Social Security benefit. And the drawback being up to 24% of your benefit will be reduced, possibly, of Social Security. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you listened to this or the folks watched the Republican debate a couple weeks back now, and the ex-governor of New Jersey, Chris Christie, brought the topic of having a means testing to see if you qualify for Social Security. To see if you qualify for Social Security. I'm saying that twice because you need to listen to the words. What they're saying is someone like Bill Gates should not get Social Security. Mm-hmm. I agree. But if I've been paying into this for 40 years and we're average Americans, average being, we have retirement savings, maybe we have a pension, maybe our 401k, our TSPs, our 403bs are, 100,000 to 3 million. You don't necessarily qualify for Social Security is what they're talking about. I don't want to take a guess, Mark. Mark, when I go, I don't throw darts because I can't see. Mm-hmm. I don't want to take my Social Security as just blind faith that's going to be there. I want to know what the opportunities are that it goes away and I'm okay still, because that's worst case scenario. And that's what we do every day when we talk to people. We show them about Social Security, and I am planning, when we do our retirement plan, we go over the income part, how important that is. We go over expenses. It's a huge question mark for people. We talk about long-term care. And then we talk about Social Security also. But with Social Security, I am showing you going down in 2033, losing money in 2033 with Social Security. Because if the government gets around and actually does something for us, the American people, and they fix this situation, great, we're in a better place. But if they don't, okay, I'm still okay. And that's what our plan shows you. Mm-hmm. It shows you the odds of that being reduced. But you only get that by giving us a call at 302-330-2166 or going to Patria, P-A-T-R-I-A wealth.com and getting those reports from us when we sit down and talk to you. You need the knowledge, folks, and I'm here to help you get the information.
And it's worth noting, too, when you schedule that initial consultation with the Patria Wealth Group, you're going to personally sit down with George Politarhos and customize that plan. It's no cost. It's no obligation. Social Security is a real concern for adults in the community. 302-330-2166. It's unfortunate, but 50% of marriages end up in divorce right now. And as we're talking about Social Security, what if I'm in that situation? I have a plan, my marriage doesn't work out. How does that affect me and my plans and couples for Social Security moving forward?
We always say that most couples plan to retire as a team, so to say. So we plan for you to be together in retirement. But unfortunately, Mark, like you said, over 50% of marriages end in divorce right now.
Yeah.
And that's, we always say how important I think it is when we have a couple for the husband and wife to know what the situation is, how your financials are, what it looks like. And I don't know if you remember this number, Mark, but 73% of women will retire either widowed, divorced, or single in retirement. But you need to know what's going on. That's how important I think it is. And this is another situation because you're paying for Social Security as a couple and you have two payments coming in. How many wives, and today men are staying home now, but how many wives stayed home and didn't work as many years and they raised the family. They took care of the kids.
My mom.
That's the way it was. And a lot of families still try and do that. Even if it's for a 5 or 8 year gap where Mrs. stays home or husband stays home, whichever way it may be, to make sure the kids are off to school and help them with those nurturing years, which is beautiful. But it affects your Social Security, doesn't it?
It does.
Now we're not getting the husband and wives together because now they're divorced after all these years. But the spouse is able to take half of the husband's Social Security at a certain age, and we can use that as a benefit. If she has a higher Social Security payment and you're divorced, well, we have to look at the odds of what the numbers are going to be for you to get the most money. And that's what the Social Security plan we use does for you. We said there's a lot of question marks. There's a lot of misinformation being given out in the world today because it's on the internet, Mark. It must be true.
Right? It's got to be 100%.
Oh, my gosh. I watched a DIY and, oh, my goodness, how easy is this? But we know that everything is not true. That's why when you come in, you sit down with myself, we're going to go over that. We're going to find out what is the answers to your questions and what is the best avenue of approach for you. Because at the end of the day, this is about you and your retirement. This is about living the life that you want to live, being able to do what you want, when you want, and how you want. But that all starts with having a plan. How's my income going to come in? How much money do I have coming in? What are my expenses? What are my concerns? Am I worried about long-term care? How am I going to plan for that? How about taxes? That's terrible. It's scary. How about medical expenses? Women spend more for medical expenses in retirement than men do. Mark, do you know that?
I did not.
Because they live longer. We need to plan for that, and we need to be set up properly. You also need to take the first step in getting this information to make the right choices by giving us a call at 302-330-2166 or going to Patria Wealth, P-A-T-R-I-A wealth.com. Set that appointment up. Let's come in, have a cup of coffee, and start the process.
It's a complimentary retirement and income plan from the team at the Patria Wealth Group. 302-330-2166. We understand it's a busy time of the year, but it's the importance of getting on the calendar. If not in 2023, then early 2024. Again, it costs you nothing for this conversation with George and the team at the Patria Wealth Group. 302-330-2166. Okay, you've officially put a plan together. You've circled that date. Now you get to cross that date off the calendar and you're retired. But when it's time to withdraw that money for your retirement, those can come from different accounts, like a taxable account, a tax-deferred account. So, George, if most of someone's money is in a 401k or an IRA, would you tell them to boost the after-tax bucket right before retirement to help benefit their plan?
Mark, that's a great question, but there's a lot of other questions we need to ask about that and how we're going to plan. We just had the seminar last week, And our CPA, Ernie Calais, I've known Ernie for 20 plus years. He's been a great friend for all those years plus. To see the presentation, how he talks about the tax part of this, I just sit back and I'm like, wow, look at that piece of straw in my mouth, like I'm sitting like with you down in Atlanta. It's amazing because we need to know where that money is going to come from. Because in retirement, we say we need 3, 4, even 5 reliable, dependable, and sustainable avenues of income, buckets of income, opportunities of income. Where's it going to come from? And then we have to see how we're going to pull that money out in retirement. What is going to benefit us being Mr. or Mrs. Jones, or Mr. Jones, or Miss further in life, benefit them down the road? Do I pull from my tax-free money, which is what you're asking about, putting more money in after-tax products, a Roth IRA, for example? Do I pull from the taxable bucket, or do I use the tax-deferred bucket? How are we using it? How are we spreading this out? Because the power of deferral for taxes is something you need to address and understand. But as we look it forward, we're trying to make sure the money comes in that's going to benefit you the most. And it may be one bucket this year and a different bucket next year.
Educate me on this one, because I heard you say the power of deferral and your tax accounts. Okay, explain that to me. Give me the Cliff Notes version. That went over my head.
So when we talk about tax deferral, Mark, give you an example. I am working with a customer right now that's in Florida, just sold a home, and we are moving funds into an investment, a fixed indexed annuity, because the power of deferral of the taxes is so great. And in this example, I'm just using a pen here, we are moving $400,000 into this taxed fixed index annuity.
Okay.
He receives a bonus and the interest that grows every year. And let's say he takes just the fixed account, which is 3.9 as of this. Can go up, can go down, but right now it's 3.9. For him, his growth over the next 10 years in this product, and I can have it in writing guaranteed, will be 54.54% in 10 years. So $400,000 becomes $623,000 in 10 years from today. But all his taxes, all the growth on that is being pushed down the road for 10 years. So when we go back and if we pay tax on that every year, the difference is an additional $113,000 in tax deferral that we're pushing off to later. Do you see how that can grow wealth for people?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's about growing wealth. It's about accumulation. Because most people, Mark, at this stage, we're working hard. And whether we have $10,000 for retirement saved up or $10 million, you've worked your backside off to accumulate, to get this wealth. You're the hunter. You're the wolf in the woods. At some stage, you need to become the sheepdog for part of that retirement that you've accumulated and hunted and did such a great job on. Not all of it, but some of it. And that's what we're doing for this gentleman by being the sheepdog to protect this and let it grow and push off the taxes down the road. And that's how important it is to choose the right bucket of income or taxes of which one to take out of, where to take that withdrawal from. Now, if you're at RMD age, required minimum distribution, we have to take money from those taxable items, your 401k, your TSP, those type of things. And we'll choose that and decide which one to take out of if there's multiple ones. But the tax issue is huge, and it's not easy. Even your tax preparer, I'm using air quotations, because so many of us have tax preparers. And they just do your taxes and look at last year, how you did, and how we're going to save you some money. Or maybe you do TurboTax or one of these online tax programs where it's nothing more than a question and answer session.
Yeah.
It's very basic for them. You need someone that's proactive. We need to look at tomorrow. And Mark, I've told you this all the time, I don't really care about Mark today. I do. I care about Mark tomorrow. And you need to talk to a financial advisor, myself, my team, Ernie, that's going to plan for the tomorrow. You need the proactive approach. How are we going to keep what we have, let it grow, be stronger, be bigger, and still have money coming in to maximize my benefit? I told you before, Mark, my concern, as every husband, I think, and spouse's concern should be, is I worry about myself. We all do. I'm more worried about Leslie. You worry about Gretchen. We worry about our spouses. So when my time is called to go home, I want Leslie to be in the best place possible and happy as can be.
right.
And that's about having a plan, having an income plan, preparing for the worst case scenario with Social Security, knowing our expenses, what's going to change. But the only way you get that information is pick the phone up and call us at 302-330-2166 or go to Patria Wealth, Patria Wealth, or better yet, Mark, stop by our office at 501 Silverside Road, Suite 31 in Wilmington, 19809. Come in, let's sit down and have a conversation. Door's always open, but let's see what we're trying to do. Let's check it out, and let's take the test drive because you need to make sure retirement works. I don't want you to say, George, it's not working. I have to go back to work. Not the same as saying, I've been home for a year, and I really want to do something. I want to go back and do X, Y, or Z. Volunteer, work at a local place a couple days a week, drive a school, whatever. Want and have are different. And we need to get that set up for you. I want you to have everything you want. I don't want you to have to do this, but it starts with a plan, and that's what we're going to give you.
Investment advisory services are offered only through properly registered representatives of Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, which is not affiliated with Patria Wealth Group. Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if George Politarhos is licensed in your state, please contact his office. George A. Politarhos is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Please consult with your attorney, accountant, and/or tax advisor for advice concerning your particular circumstances. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities, offered through George A. Politarhos, NPN number 175000473.